Mission.
Hi, this is the Gun Guy. Thanks very much for watching my channel. I really do appreciate it. I've got another California compliant grip to show you today, and that's called the LEDGEGRIP. And they call it that, I assume, because it's kind of like a ledge right here. I've been fiddling with it a lot. They sent it to me a while ago, and so I stuck it on a rifle, and I've been playing with it here and there and practicing with it and shooting with it. Like any of these types of grips, this one is no different. They are not necessarily instinctive when you first start using them because you're so accustomed to having a regular pistol grip that when you go to get your rifle, you tend to get it in kind of goofy ways. But after you've used them for a while, they do become somewhat natural. I think it's just a matter of getting used to the change in the equipment. This particular grip is made really, really well. I was very impressed with the fit and finish, and frankly, although it looks goofy because I'm used to a regular grip, it actually looks kind of nice. I mean, I would prefer it that the rifle just be what it's supposed to be and not have to go through all of these machinations to make the state of California happy or whatever state, restrictive state you happen to be in. But it is what we've got to do, and so there you are. Now that said, this grip is made very well. It's very easy to attach. Literally all you have to do is unscrew the one screw to remove your pistol grip and move the little spring for the detent from one to the other and then screw this one on. I mean, that's it. It's a, I don't know, 5-minute exercise if you take your time and get a cup of coffee. And then once the grip is there, then this part, which is this little extension or spacer that slides over the buffer tube, slides in and joins perfectly with the grip itself, and that allows you to use your standard collapsible stock because then with the spacer there, the stock isn't collapsible, it now becomes fixed. So that solves the whole fixed stock, no pistol grip problem for the state of California and for a couple of other states that I can come up with off the top of my head. Now, like a lot of these grips, it does remove your ability to grab anything with your thumb, and that reduces the strength of your grip. What they've done is come up with this post that sticks out so that when you're gripping the rifle, you can also wrap your thumb around that post, and that gives you a little bit sturdier grip. And I've found that that does help dramatically in allowing you to have control of the rifle. The only criticism I would have is that you either have the right-hand post version or the left-hand post version. They are not ambidextrous. You have to order it righty or lefty, and that is the way it is. So you have the post on one side, but and it's because I'm right-handed, but on left-handed, I don't have the post. So you can see there's no place for my thumb. And since I'm only gripping the rifle with essentially 3 fingers, that makes my grip a lot less strong. So I like this. However, I wish it was an ambi sort of situation so that I could move it back and forth depending on who's shooting the rifle. But it isn't. You have to order it the way that you want it to be, whatever that may be. Now, the other thing about it, too, as I noticed, is I was thinking about, I can't get to my safety with this thumb, so I was thinking about putting an ambi safety on it, but then I don't know how that's going to work out with this post in the way. So the post is positive on the one hand and maybe negative on the other from the standpoint of working my safety. I don't know. But those are the issues I came up with. Now, I'm not going to show you how to install it because there are probably 37,000 videos on how to do that, and I don't want to waste your time. I did go out and shoot it quite a bit, and in fact, I went out today to the P2K Range and shot it quite a bit and enjoyed shooting it there. It's very comfortable to shoot. It's very easy to shoot. The ergonomics are very sound, I think, except for the fact that you can't get your thumb around it, but that's the nature of the beast with these sort of compromise adjustments we have to make to our rifles to keep from having to register them. The big test was when I wanted to figure out, from moving from shooting position to shooting position, how well was this going to work? There's a few things about this grip I can tell you right away. One is it looks nice. I mean, it's not my preferred grip, and if you're an AR15 purist, it's offensive to you, I get it. But as far as its design is concerned, it is a very nice looking grip. It does a couple of things really well. One, it lays your hand in such a way that when you're shooting, you really do feel like you've got a hold of a standard rifle stock. So it doesn't feel like a goofy stock. It feels like a standard rifle stock. There's also the fact that on this side, I showed you a few minutes ago, that it has that little post there, and that gets you a place to wrap your thumb around, gives you a little bit more control if you're right-handed. I'm assuming they have one for lefties. I don't know. They sent me this because I'm right-handed. Now, it's not reversible, and that is a problem when you're moving from right-handed to left-handed and you want to try to maintain that grip and keep your finger off the trigger, because you naturally with this thing want to get your finger in the trigger because you don't have quite as good a purchase on the rifle. It's easily kind of peeled out of your hand and you can feel the weight from the front. So you really do need that second connection with the stock from here to here, or second connection up here to hold the rifle with any really solid stability. Other than that, it seems to be extremely well built. It's very well designed. It's very well thought out. And I do like the fact that it's extremely easy to put on the rifle and set up. Now, with regard to control though, these kind of things always make me wonder when it comes not just from standing up shooting or shooting on a bench or wherever I am, but also having to move into different shooting positions, because these rifles are actually owned by folks, most of them, for defensive purposes. We go and we shoot them at the range and so on, but if they're a defensive rifle, that means you're going to have to, if you ever have to actually use it for that, you're not going to want to stand out in the open and fight. You're going to want to get behind cover, which means cover could be tall and you may have to work around it and lean out around it, or it could be short and you may have to kneel behind it, or you might not have any and you have to go prone. And you have to do that with some grace, if you will, so that you don't kill yourself getting on the ground. You got to do it with some relative speed and some grace, but also some control of the rifle, because if you drop your rifle going prone or getting back up, or you lose control of it and you launch around and you put around where you didn't want to go, or you're doing that kneeling, that's a problem. And that's where these kind of stocks need that little bit of extra experimentation. So in addition to just holding it up here so you can see it, and obviously I'm going to shoot it, but before I do that, I want to see what's it like, how much control do I have moving from a standing to kneeling position, and then how much control do I have moving from a standing to a prone position and getting back up. Now I'm going to try kneeling with this first, because as I said, sometimes the control aspect is not what you want it to be. I said it feels like a regular rifle when you're shooting it, but that is with one exception. If you're using a standard rifle stock, your thumb can rise right over the top of the pistol grip part of the stock, and that's not the case here. Your thumb has to stay on the same side as your shooting hand, and that's where this little post helps a little bit, but it does not help on the other side. And that's one of the things about these particular solutions, is there's no place for you to put your thumb that's going to give you that extra added grip of the opposable thumb. Nice thing that we have, but in this case you can't use it. So how much control this is going to give me as I kneel, I don't know, but let's try it. So I'm in my shooting position here and I want to kneel. I've got to step forward, tuck my foot, and get down here where I need to be. That's just fine because I've got all my hands on the rifle. I'm good to go. Get back up, and here we go. Now I've maintained control of the rifle the entire time. I think in large part because I have 4 contact points with the rifle. I've got the foregrip, my grip here on with my shooting hand, the stock up against my shoulder, and my cheek weld. But going prone, well, that's a whole different animal, because at some point I got to let go with this hand. Now this is the most challenging of the little tests I'm doing, in part because I do have to let go of the gun a couple times to use my offhand to get myself down there and back up again, and in part because I'm just an old guy. Okay, so you know, getting down there and getting back up again gets harder as you get older. I have the same enemies everybody else has got: age and gravity. But in any case, the goal here is to find out whether when I let go of the rifle, I still have some control over it as I'm getting from standing to kneeling and then back up again. So let's give it a try. Here we go. So now I'm at the point where now this is where the rubber meets the road, because at this point I've got to let go with this hand to put a hand down there and get myself down there. So I'm supporting it with just my shoulder and my shooting hand. And that's where that little stud that sticks out really helps. So elbow down, feet back, and I'm in my kneeling, or I'm in my prone position. Not terribly gracefully, I admit, but I'm here. All right, now I got to get back up again, and once again, that means I've got to let go of the gun, make sure it doesn't swing right or left, because I've got to maintain control of it. I don't want to impact my buddies, and I've got to get my knees underneath me to get back up again, and all the while maintain control of the rifle so that I don't lose control of it. I don't drop it. I don't inadvertently put my finger in the trigger well and fire around, or any of those kinds of things. And right away, I can tell you I have enough control to do it. As I think I mentioned before, these solutions just take some extra practice. I mean, they're completely different. They change the ergonomics of the rifle. They change the whole way you do things. After I had practiced getting in the kneeling position and back up again, getting prone and back up again 3 or 4 times, even after we had shot that video, what I discovered was that if I adjusted the way I controlled the rifle as I got down prone and the way I controlled the rifle as I got back up, and even changed up the kind of the way I get back up or the way I get down there, I found that I was able to control the rifle so much better. So it's what I think it requires, honestly, is not just an adjustment in the furniture on the rifle to get past the screwball, oddball laws in restrictive states like mine. I think it also requires that we go back and reinvent the wheel a little bit and make some adjustments in the way we actually employ the rifle as a tool, particularly as a defensive tool or hunting tool, where we're likely to have to kneel behind cover or get prone so that we can hit whatever the game is we're hunting at some distance, or kneel so that we got a little more stable shot, or whatever the case might be. That being the case, we're going to have to figure out how to do it given the new adjustments in the rifle and the way that you grip it. It can be done. It's not my preferred method. Obviously, my preferred method would be put the rifle back together the way it's supposed to be and change the laws in the state so that they're not so nonsensical. But I don't think it's going to happen overnight, if at all. So I'm looking at all different kinds of solutions. I would say this is a good one. So check them out. It's the LEDGEGRIP. It's in the description. You'll find a link to their website. Again, righty, lefty. You can order them either way. And they also have some other cool things I'm going to show you in a different video. I was going to show it in this video, but it would take a little bit long. They have some other things that will allow you to set your stock adjustment to shorter lengths if you want to, and be able to use a different solution for your grip. And the combination allows you to keep from having to buy a fixed stock or drill your stock or pin it or whatever. So that would be really cool to look at. We'll be looking at that in the next video. But for this one, check out the LEDGEGRIP. I'm very impressed with it. I'm impressed with the workmanship. I'm impressed with the intelligence of the design. And honestly, I found it to be very functional and very positive. Thank you again for watching. Have a wonderful week, and please be safe.